Colleagues, please bear with these gentlemen. I'm not sure if Salem's ready for him.
Good morning, co-chairs Owens and Helm, and Vice Chair McDonald, and members of the committee. My name is Merle Reid, and I live in Harney County. And I'm kind of unique here because I don't have a farm or ranch. So this is educational to me, but I do have two businesses in Harney County. I have a restaurant and I have a convenience store. So they're not really egg related, but I do know that as agriculture, as the livestock and the hay growers do well, our businesses and our community do well. And I think in listening to a lot of these farmers and ranchers, with them spending over 6 years having meetings with OWRD and trying to work through a process and trying to come down with reduction, because they know that there is overusage. But some of that has to fall back on ORD because they're the ones that have allowed the permits and the well drilling in areas that is, I'm not into math but I can tell you, you can't poke so many holes in the ground in a certain area without putting a damage to the water table. But the ranchers and farmers have been working to help come up with solutions. And then what was disappointing to them is in December, where they came out with 17 letters of cease and desist orders for these ranchers to do that. And that's not what they were working towards. They're working on solutions to come up with this. So I'm here to speak economically what the impact would be for the whole county, for the Robbins equipment, which is the tractors, the Les Schwab, the tires, the Point S, the tires, the parts store, the fuel companies, the trucking companies, any businesses in Burns and the real estate. It's all going to be a huge negative impact. And in one of the meetings I did go to, they asked like what dollar figure, and they don't even know what the trickle down figure, but at least $60 million will be lost in our district, in our county, and that is devastating to any county, and especially a county that's so dependent on agricultural. So I support House Bill 3800 because we have to put, as Miss Senator, I don't know how to address you, Mrs. Marsh, you're exactly right. The OWRD needs to be held accountable and held to their standards, and that's what hopefully House Bill 3800 will help us do. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Co-Chairman Owens and Helms, Vice Chairman McDonald, and members of the committee, thank you for having us. My name is Tony Hackett. I'm a local member of the community, growing up in the 70s as a farmer all the way up into the 80s, and now a drilling company in downright drilling in Burns, Oregon. My point on this is growing up as a farmer in the 70s, our farm, we had 400-foot wells. We pumped from 60 feet. We irrigated 640 acres. Around 78, I stood beside my father when he spoke to the water master, Bill, and called the water resources, talking about wells being drilled all around our place. And we had senior water rights, and as they kept installing pivots around us in the early 80s, our water table dropped to where we dropped our pumps to the bottom of the wells and then had to start looking for more water. Yet the state did nothing. The state has done literally nothing to 2025 for the same ranch. To this day, they have done nothing. In the meantime, water rights were giving out since the 80s all the way to just 7 years ago, with extensions going, as Representative Owens said, to 2035. So there's still people trying to put in more pivots, more wells. In the meantime, people that I work with, the community is like family to me, from Denial all the way to Seneca. And my wife and I both graduated in Crane, and still live in Harney County. And it's pretty personable when you grow up with everybody and realize they've all been doing their job. They've been dealing with the growth that's been going on, but constantly asking to slow it down, to stop giving out more water rights. Yet they keep giving them out. They quit answering our questions, then turn around and want to show up and shut them down because they overallocated. Well, we knew this back in the 80s. We knew this in the 90s. We knew this in 2000, but nothing was done. And now we have customers ourselves that they were informed, you use it or lose it. If you don't get it in production, you lose your application to your water right. I have customers that have proof they've got up to $1 million in the last 5 years, upgrading, putting in new pivots, drilling the wells, putting water meters on. Then the state come out during their application and said, you need to install a monitor well for us to monitor your water, a separate well. They come in, drop their little salinist in it, lock the well, don't say a word, then turn around, still no water right. The people still farming, trying to keep going. And then 18 months ago, one of my customers finally asked their water right lawyer, where's my water right? He said, well, the only solution we got is the state offers a chance to expedite it for $2,000 per well. So people have been paying for this extra money on top of everything they've done, turned around, received a letter after January 2nd of this year, cease and desist those wells, and still did not get their water right. One of my customers got their water right yesterday. After 18 months expediting everything else, still, then they got the letter to cease and desist their well. And over the 5 foot per 3 years, 15-foot drop. Different water rights have different regulations. Some have 25 foot, some have 15. There's nothing consistent with the water resources. For starters, they never have done anything for us from 1978 to 2025. Then they turn around and they say, well, we made a mistake. We're going to cut back. And they've turned around and misled people to this day that if you don't use it, you lose it. They spend their heart and soul. They put everything up for collateral. They meet the requirements the state tells them to be turned around and given a letter without notice. We are on a RAC committee. We've been dealing with this for 5 to 7 years, meetings, shutting down a rig, shutting down farms, everything. While they get paid to come in Burns and tell us we had a good meeting. This was good. Pat you on the back, send you out the door, and then they turn around and come back here and write what they want to write. They literally do nothing that we discuss sometimes in our meetings. They just do what they want to do. And I'm here to just say it's just the House Bill 3800 will give us a chance as a community to work together and try to solve a problem that the state did to us. We didn't do this. I said in a public hearing when one of the state WOWR members turned around and told the people there that you did this to yourself. We did not do this to ourselves. They overallocated so much, and they blame us for pumping too much water. And we cannot get that through their head. They are dead set that you did this to yourself. And I just, if we did that to ourselves, let us fix it then, because we didn't do it to ourselves. And so as a driller, I've used new technology on all our drilling. We make sand-free wells. We're trying to protect the resources. We don't just punch a hole in the ground. Water Resources is also supposed to be responsible to protect the resources. We've had wells as a kid. We had power poles fall in. We've had overpumping of sand. To this day, the state still does nothing about it. That is another job they have. So I'm just saying we're That's all I got.
No, keep it, you can go a little bit longer, just wrap it up.
Oh, okay. Wrap it up. Well, and that's the problem I have. I don't know when to shut up. But I'm just saying, I hope we have your support and helping the community try to fix our problem that we did not create. Thank you.
Thanks. Rep Levy and then Rep Short.
I just want to tell you, thank you, co-chairs. I 100% agree with you. We've had all the same problems in my district, all the same problems with OWRD. Thank you.
Rep Short.
Thank you, Co-Chair. I have a question for you. So when I buy a piece of property here in the valley, when I was a kid growing up, we bought a piece of property. We got an artesian well off of it. I was pretty lucky. But before my dad bought that piece of property, he had it witched to make sure there was water on it. And then we drew the wells before we bought the property, before we signed the deed to make sure that there was water on it. And struck gold, basically. Are folks buying property thinking there's water on it? Or are folks buying property being told there's water on it? Are folks buying property being told they can drill? Why are people buying this property thinking they can get water?
Okay, what has been going on lately is a lot of investors are buying it. We have people putting in properties in that area that downright drilling does not drill for. I will not drill for neighboring properties in areas that I already know we had a problem. I grew up there. I know where the water issues are. And for the record, the entire county is not in trouble. The Department of Water Resources wants to handle it as one problem, but it is sectional. That's why you saw that map of different zones. There are places we don't have it and we do. We have investors from San Diego, San Francisco, Washington, Idaho that buy that land because it is cheaper in Harney County if it isn't developed. You're buying sagebrush. They look at a turnkey thing, slap some wells, put some pivots on it, and sell it. And it's investors, people trying to make money. We've had these people can't get us to drill the wells, so they turn around and hire drilling companies out of California. They've had them come out of Albany. They run over, punch the holes because they just want to get it in production. Again, the investors are told use it or lose it, so they do everything they can to slap it in real fast and dump it. And so that it isn't all locals trying to expand. No, it's new people coming in because they're given the water right. They're given the water right application.
Thank you, sir.
Did that answer your question?
It did.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Exactly what I wanted to hear.
Thank you, gentlemen. Just to add a little add to that, Rep Sharf. So April of 2016, the first rulemaking through said we're no longer going to process any new applications. But at that time, 30% of the applications still had the legal right to come online. And those had a extension date to you have to use it by this time or lose it. And some of those extension dates are still in the present. So people think they need to get the water in before their water rate becomes invalid, not maybe doing or full understanding that there's not water available. But they also might have a senior water right even though it's not been developed because the extensions have gone on for 30 years. So it's a convoluted mess.
There you go.